because the survivors like me, we survived together. Today, Info Library is a space for stories, but most importantly, I call it a space where survivors' stories are not judged but understood. As I conclude today, I would like to first comfort my fellow survivors who are here today. And thank my fellow Rwandans, other fellow Rwandans who have joined them today. And the beautiful people of Australia who have received them all with good hearts. In my conversation with my friend Patrick, I always hear very good stories from you. I hope that those we have lost will live forever in the humanity in our hearts. As we remember that I remember Kwibuka. I thank you once again for listening to me. I wish you all a peaceful time, the peaceful future, the future without genocide. Thank you very much. May God bless you.
Thank you so much, Omar. Can you hear me? Thank you for your time. It takes courage to share your story. And we just want to thank you for this morning for joining us and sharing your story. For anyone who would like to know more about his story, you can find his book online. And I think we had a photo of your book there. It's called Life and Death in Yamata. I'm sure if you Google life and death, then Yamata will come up and you'll see a word you can't read properly and then you will see, oh, that's the book. Thank you. It's really hard to listen to stories like these, especially for, I guess for anyone, when you hear exactly what happened in genocide, some of these things are graphic and it's really hard to share them. But survivors, they went through it. We went through it. And this is the thing when it comes to this, it's just going through the genocide is one thing, but also living a life after that. And after the genocide, many of us survivors, we didn't have a therapist to go to and actually share your story. There were no psychologists, there were no counselors. You were just expected to just move on and um, start life again. I remember myself when I was asked to go back to school. I couldn't understand why would I go back to school because there was no point. Life had no meaning. But it was good. I think you heard that in one of the previous in the documentary. We were encouraged to go back to school, and we did study, and we life went on. But what I want to say is, especially probably to the survivors, healing is not a straight path and looks different to everyone. And it also personal. It also unfolds in its own time. But I will encourage everyone as a survivor, just you need to reach out and find a community because we heal in a community. We don't heal alone. And I think also when you choose to heal, you turn your pain into purpose and your suffering into wisdom and your memory into a force of dignity and hope. And also when you're doing that, you're not honoring your own journey, but you're also helping to show the weight of this trauma does not define the next generation. Because that's also another fear we carry as survivors, because you can pass on your trauma to the next generation. We are choosing to remember with purpose. We are going to, I'm going to ask everyone to stand up so we can take 1 minute of silence in the memory of the people who died in genocide. Thank you. I'm going to invite Teta and Harmony to come and read the names of some of the victims of the genocide. We read these names because we don't want our people to be forgotten. And I know some of you will not just gonna sit here and some of the names are in Rwanda and you don't even gonna know and understand. But I just, as I asked you at the beginning, let's make space for each other. And because of some of these names, I'll give you my own example. For my mom in there, my dad, my sister, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my 3 brothers-in-law in those names. If you could just join me because I'm standing and support me, but there's so many survivors in here. Their names are gonna be read. After we read the names, we'll just do the candle lighting. But we'll just maybe read the names first.
In loving memory of Damascene Jimira's family, Francis Jimira, Jean Jimira, Joseph Jimira, Leokadi Jimira, Monique Jimira, Odette Jimira, Raphael Jimira, Theodore Jimira, Muraza Suzanne Jimira, Venusta Jimira. In loving memory of Aimable Mutaga, Angèle Ange Muhire, Anne-Marie Solange Mutezinha, Berancille Mukaminega, Caritas Mukamutema family, Damien Muyurabatwari family, Dismas Rudigana, Eulade Kazungu, Evode Muchiza Mutaga, France Fiette Wanhede, Federico Furere family, Joseph Kaijuka, Léon Gassana, Madela Nyirabizimana family, Marie Gratis Mimi, Nina Wabagunga, Oswald Rugema, Yvonne Chouchou Mukamutaga. Gael and Ladislas Bizimana's family, Anselme Habana, Jaruze, Donatil Muregaire, Edith Numukoga, Emmanuel Serukare, Gaudence Nyirabasoni, Jean-Baptiste Vana, Jean Damascene Rwemaire, Marie Ayipamie, Garambe, Nyamukoga, Wenceslas Nyam.
I just want to ask, I forgot to mention that if you see the name of your family, more than welcome to come and pick a flower and place that flower there. And then after that, everyone will join in these families and light their candles.
Liliane and Amos Ndayambaje's family, Aimable Muzenzi, Anisette Gasamaza, Benoît Mukamirindi, Célestin Mashua, Désiré Nzungize, Florida Mukanhivunwa, Yarwema Dieudonné, Immaculée Murekatete, Jeanne Gwinondebe, Jean Bosco Ruhinda, Jonas Ngirinshuti, Joseph Kayitakika, Joseph Simpenzwe, Justine, Kaburimbo Jean Baptiste, Kalisa Eugène, Kayihura Adèle, Muterahejuru Léotaire, Nyemanzi Innocent, Seth Rukundo, Shakaje Christophe, Zabron Ndirimana.
Yvonne and Lambert Ndakaza's family, Albert Mugabo, Jeanne Murongi, Laurent Mugabo, Louise Murekatete, Isham Butera, Robert Mpusi, Vedas Butera, Beren Mukamazimpaka.
Pacific's family, Mudasubira Jean Baptiste, Mudasubira Zigama Jean Baptiste, Mujawimana Donata, Mukabaranga Godeliva, Mukankuranga Jeanne, Rurangwa Antoine, Rurangirwa Jean-Marie Vianney.
Bona and Patrick Rufangura's family, Adele Nyiramakuba, Alphonse Byuma, Anastasia Mukabaranga, André Karayiga, Angeline Mukarushema, Charité Nazaire, Claver Ibyo Yavuze, Claver Kananga, Deogracias Gashugi, Emmanuel Kayitana, Febroni Mukamuyenzi, Floride Nyirabarera, François Gatsinzi, Gikoko Kayitana, Gilbert Butazinda, Hilde Kayitesi, Jean-Baptiste Kimonyo, Jean-Paul Udacumura, Jean-Pierre Mwizerwa, Josephine Kamaraba, Josephine Mujawamariya, Justine Mukobwajana, Kabera, Rangwa Rugenera, Leoncie Murekeyisoni, Liberata Mujawimana, Marie Mukawusabira, Matron Umutoni, Ntambara, Mukanyirigira twitaga Nyiramushusha, Bubiri and his entire family, Nzayisenga twitaga Masenga, Pacifique Kayitana, Philippe Shumbusho, P. Ntare Ntakirutimana, Sakindi, Teresia Mukagashayija, Theodore Habumugisha, Theodeste Cyubahiro, Uzabumwana, Veronique Uwamahoro.
Thank you so much. These are some of the names. We see there's more names. We read them, we will be here all day. But these are some of the names of people who are represented here. And every year we'll have more names. I'm just gonna invite everyone to come before candles on this side and candles on that side. If you're sitting in this area, please use that side. Come go and pick one candle and light it in a support of survivors and people we lost during the genocide. If you are in the middle, you can maybe use this side, and if you are on this side, just go on that. They've got candles, they've got batteries. You just pick one and you turn on your candle this way. Thank you. You can start from that hole.
There's ads advertisement.
Ni keza gutora biranarangiye azi twaje gukora amazina ahagije rero cyane live stream abashyizeho internet yendi yabona ni ya kwa kone gakuze n'imyitwarire dushyira
Thank you so much. I'm just going to invite Josie to come and read a poem. Josie, she's Patrick daughter. And for those who could watch on the screen, there were so many names, nothing. Which means there's so many aunties that she will never meet. Thanks, Josie.
Right after the hills. There was a time the hills felt quiet, and laughter faded into fear. During the Rwandan genocide against the Tutsi, a nation left that year. The sky bore witness to the sorrow. The earth held stories deep below, of life once full of dreams and promise, not short, too soon to grow. Yet in the silence, something stirred, a courage no one could erase. In every heart that chose to keep a seed of hope in place. To remember is to carry each name, each face, each story told. To reunite is to stand together, to be stronger, to be bold, and to renew is not forgetting, but choosing life beyond the pain, to build again with hands of peace and let love rise again. So now the hills are not just they speak of how far we have come, of healing and brighter days, and all that's yet to come.
Thank you so much, Josie. That was beautiful, wasn't it? We're now going to invite our guest speaker, Jasmina. Jasmina, she is from START, the organization that START has been really supporting us in so many ways. When we organize commemorations, we always have someone from START. Jasmina comes, be coming, and other stuff from START. So if anyone experiences emotions they can't handle, we always have START staff here to support us. And Jasmina also comes from a family that experienced a genocide. I will let her talk to you guys about it. Thank you.
Burmi Bujari Gamarua Yura. That's a greeting in Daru language, and for me, it's a way of learning some of the Daru language means expressing my respect to the custodians and the ancestors of this beautiful country. As Yvonne said, my name is Yasmina Balaktarovich-Hayward. I'm Community Services Coordinator at STARTS, and I have worked at STARTS actually since 1994. I came here as a refugee from Bosnia myself. Thank you, Rwandan community, for inviting me to speak today. It's a privilege to stand with you again this year, as I have year after year. Commemorations like this matter because genocide doesn't stop when the violence ends. The effects continue through our bodies, through our minds, through our families, relationships, and communities. Some wounds are visible, and we carry other wounds hidden for many years. And my understanding of genocide and its long-term impacts comes from both my professional work over many decades with refugee communities, but also comes from my personal and family history. I come from Bosnia, a country that was profoundly impacted by war, violence, displacement, and genocide. The Srebrenica genocide took place in 1995, only 1 year after the genocide against Tutsi in Rwanda. And that happened to my people, to Bosniaks. My own family history also carries older experience of mass violence that I have just found out recently. Interestingly, thanks to Bosnian team qualifying for the World Cup, one of the players carries my surname. This mass violence happened in another part of former Yugoslavia in 1924 when my family escaped to find refuge in Bosnia. And it's violence that wasn't called genocide at that time because the word wasn't invented. So while every community's experience is unique, I speak today with awareness that genocide continues, said long time after killing ends. One of the things that we understand much better today, and here I go into my professional background, is that trauma affects more than just emotions. Severe and prolonged trauma changes our bodies and changes our brains. When people live through extreme fear and violence, nervous system adapts for survival. Stress hormones remain elevated for a long time, even when trauma stops. Our brain becomes focused on detecting danger. Our sleep changes. The body learns vigilance because vigilance once kept us alive. We need to stay vigilant. For many of us, this vigilance doesn't disappear after the danger has passed. Years later, people might still experience chronic exhaustion, pain, headaches, difficulty sleeping, memory problems, digestive issues, even cardiovascular problems. And I have seen that in my own community and other communities. Some people feel constantly tense, as though their body has never fully relaxed after what happened. Changes happen to our immune systems as well. So we can experience many complex health issues across and along many parts of our lives. Sometimes we don't immediately connect these difficulties to trauma because so much time has passed, but it's still there. Many survivors spend years focused on survival, on work, on building your life, on supporting your children, supporting the community. And some of those symptoms might become stronger later in life, especially during the periods of stress, illness, aging, or commemorations like this. Things come back. Trauma can also affect relationships. People who have experienced profound betrayal and violence find it difficult to trust again. Some people become isolated, and we've spoken about that today already. Others remain constantly alert to danger. For some people, remembrance brings connection, and that's why we are here today. We are here about connection and about honoring. But for others, it can reopen emotional wounds and bodily memories that might be difficult to manage. And this is why you all caring for each other today and us from starts being with you is important. It's important for families and communities to understand that because people are struggling and do not directly ask for help, it doesn't mean that they don't need help. Sometimes the signs can be subtle. A person can suddenly isolate themselves. Someone who stops participating in the community life. Changes in sleep, appetite, mood or energy, or even alcohol use for self-medication. There could be expressions of hopelessness when people talk about being tired of everything. And many people come from cultures where suffering is expected to be carried privately, where there is stigma about seeking psychological support, and others feel they have to stay strong for their family and for their community. And we all know that story. Many of you are doing that the day after day. But the fact that we are strong doesn't mean that we don't need help sometimes. Children also grow up inside emotional environments and they absorb our own fear, our grief, and our anxiety. Some children become really protective of their parents when they see that the parents are struggling. And they start behaving like parents to their own parents. Others carry sadness or responsibility they can't fully explain. And there's also a lot of evidence that there is a genetic transmission of trauma. So children can express trauma in many different ways, even if they haven't physically experienced it. And then, of course, there are things to do with community. Where communities that experience violence and genocide can find it difficult to trust and connect and remain with each other. That's why the community leadership that you showed today, community leadership of compassion, transparency, and servant leadership are important. So just to finish off, talking about some practical things about healing, at an individual level, it's most important to recognize the trauma reactions and to seek support. Encourage your friends to come and talk to us, encourage them to talk to your GP, and don't carry pain in silence and alone. At family level, being open and compassionate and talking about the difficult things that have happened can be important. Children know when something is wrong, they feel it. And silence can sometimes increase the fear because children sense the pain but don't understand it. And I'm sure you have all found ways of talking to your children where they don't feel re-traumatized, but they feel that they understand their family better. At a community level, healing becomes more possible when we all as a community reduce stigma about mental health and emotional suffering. Communities become stronger and we are able to speak honestly without fear or shame. But it comes through practical support that you have already done as a community, through community groups, through spaces for elders, through youth programs, through cultural continuation, through your dance, through your music, through the song. Communities rebuild trust through consistency and shared responsibility, and it takes time. And again, servant leadership is the type of a leadership that community leaders can exhibit to build trust in their communities. And final thing I want to say, It's very meaningful to me when one survivor community connects to another survivor community, and when we recognize each other as communities that have survived genocide. As somebody from Bosnia, like I said, I'd like to acknowledge the solidarity your country, Rwanda, has shown to my country, and to our survivors and communities. Rwanda helped support United Nations resolution recognizing the International Day of Reflection and Commemoration of the 1995 genocide in Srebrenica. Rwanda helped the Bosnian government draft the resolution. So that solidarity is essential, politically, historically, emotionally, and psychologically for all of us, because survivor communities understand certain things without needing long explanations. We understand the importance of remembrance. We understand pain of denial. We understand the efforts required to rebuild afterwards. We understand what it means to carry memory across generations. But solidarity reminds us that we are not alone in carrying this memory. And I would like to invite you, our commemorations will be in July. I would like to invite anyone who wants to attend. I would let Vivens know that Bosnian community organizes commemorations. And I'd like to invite you to join us for our commemorations. There will also be one in Canberra in Bosnian Embassy as well. So I'll let you know events. Thank you very much for letting me talk today. And thank you for sharing and inviting me year after year.
Thank you so much, Jasmina. It's always good for us, survivors or Rwandans in general, to hear about what the impact of trauma. Because when you are aware of what's going on in your own life, you're probably able to manage it better than when you don't know. I would like to welcome Mr. Zihisun, members for banks. Thank you for coming. We are going to listen to a message of the High Commissioner of Rwanda, His Excellency Innocent Muhizi, is the High Commissioner of Rwanda to the Commonwealth of Australia. Another technical issue, but this is the last one.
Remember, theme is both call to function and a call to action. It reminds us that remembrance must strengthen unity, and that unity must continually renew our commitment to preventing genocide and defending humanity. Today, we honor the memory of more than 1 million innocent Tutsi who were murdered during the genocide perpetrated against the community. Ash and Ahar, member of battle, is Aziz Su, Ash and Ahar, member of battle, member for banks, is Julia King, Ash and Ahar, Ash and Ahar, member of battle, is Aziz Su, member for banks, is Julia King, member for Part3, community service coordinator, Virginia Praja Part3, community leaders, and leaders in Part3, fellow Rwandans, friends of Rwanda, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you for joining us today in this home gathering of remembrance. We gather to mark the second commemoration of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, also known as Part3, under the global theme, Remember, Unite, Renew. The theme is both a call to punishment and a call to action. It reminds us that remembrance must strengthen unity, and that unity must continually renew our commitment to preventing genocide and defending human dignity. Today, we honor the memory of more than 1 million innocent Tutsi who were murdered during the genocide perpetrated against them in 1994. We stand with the survivors whose courage and resilience continue to illuminate the path forward. We also pay tribute to the valiant combatants of the Rwanda Patriotic Army who stopped the genocide and liberated Rwanda, restoring hope and the possibility of renewal. As President Paul Kagame has reminded us, the genocide against the Tutsi was not meant. It was a choice made by people, and it could have been stopped. The truth places responsibility square on all of us, then and now. Ladies and gentlemen, Kwibuka Part 2 is not only about memory, it's a moment of accountability. The genocide against the Tutsi was not spontaneous. It was deliberately planned and systematically executed by the former government of Rwanda under President Kwibuka. Beginning on April 7, 1994, state institutions, including political leaders, administrative authorities, the armed forces, and affiliated extremist militia were mobilized to carry out the extermination of the Tutsi population across the country. In just 100 days, more than 1 million British civilians were killed. This historical reality has been firmly established through international justice. The International Criminal Tribunal of Rwanda confirmed both the planning and execution of the genocide, including through the landmark media case, which affirmed the criminal nature of incitement to genocide through the media. Yet, 32 years later, we face a new challenge. Genocide ideology, denial, and revisionism have not disappeared. They have adapted. They now circulate through social media arguments, organize the denialist network, and advocate structures that seek to distort history, minimize the crime, or recast perpetrators. Let us be clear. Denial is not free speech. It is the final stage of the genocide. As genocide scholar Dr. Gregory Stanton has warned, denial perpetrates the crime by erasing truth and obstructing justice. It directly undermines the 1948 UN Genocide Convention, which obliges all states and all societies to prevent and punish genocide. I therefore speak directly to all of you, especially students, academics, and educators. We are guardians of evidence, history, and critical inquiry. When denial appears in scholarship, classrooms, or digital spaces, science is not neutrality. It is complicity. Defending historical truth through rigorous research, ethical teaching, and principled engagement is not only a moral duty, it is an essential act of genocide prevention. Ladies and gentlemen, the genocide against the Tutsi was brought to an end in July 1994 by the Rwanda Patriotic Army, RPF. In its aftermath, Rwanda undertook an extraordinary journey, national recovery and reconciliation. Ethnic-based political structures were dismantled, being Rwandans was reaffirmed as the foundation of national identity. Mechanisms of truth, justice, and healing became pillars of national life. Yet, as President Paul Kagame has cautioned, genocide ideology does not end with genocide itself. It survives in denial, in distortion, and in indifference. This is why Rwanda continues to call upon UN member states to implement UN Security Council Resolution 2150, which obliges the states to arrest, prosecute, or extradite genocide fugitives on their territory. Impunity anywhere undermines prevention everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, Kwibuka 32 is also a moment to renew. A renewal of Rwanda's remarkable recovery and a renewal of the international community's commitment to the 1948 Caribbean Genocide Convention, which obliges all signatories not only to punish genocide, but to prevent it. As we remember today, let us also unite across nations and communities to defend truth and human dignity. And let us renew our shared commitment, ensuring that never again is a failed not in words alone, but in decisive, sustained action. In closing, I thank our distinguished guests for standing with us today. The presence honors the victims, the remembrance returns to truth, and the commitment safeguards the future. We remember that the victims of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi continue to guide our conscience and our actions. I thank you.
Thank you. That was the High Commissioner of Rwanda to the Commonwealth of Australia, Stanislaw Muhizi. We are now going to invite Ash and to come and say a few words. Ash, an MPA, the Member of Parliament and House of Representatives.
Thanks, Yvonne. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ash Andrea. I'm the Federal Member for Boston, and I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of lands in which we pay respects to elders past and present. Sorry, I'm a bit emotional. I think just reflecting a little bit, as a young girl, I was born in Sydney. I was probably about Josie's age when I watched this unfold on TV in the 90s. And I remember, I was raised by my uncle, and I remember him trying to explain what's happening. How do you explain to a young girl what is happening in Rwanda? And let alone what was being experienced there. And I just want to recognize particularly how heavy today is for a lot of us here, particularly our survivors and families who've been impacted, but also for someone who hasn't had a direct connection with the Rwanda community. It's important to make sure that we are sharing the story with also outside of our Rwanda community in this multicultural country. And I just want to, really appreciate the opportunity to be here to commemorate those that we've lost in 1994 with the genocide against the Tutsi. I also want to acknowledge the members of the Rwandan community connections and all the distinguished guests, and thank you, Zeke, for being here, Federal Member for Banks, all our community leaders, families, survivors. Thank you for allowing me to share this commemoration with you today. More importantly, I think reflecting on the genocide is what led to this violence. There's a lot of things, and I appreciate also Christina's contributions around what are we recognizing before it gets to that point of violence. And it still is a big issue when we think about the conflict in the Middle East, but also we're thinking about other communities. So my background, I'm Sri Lankan, I'm a Tamil. I'm also part Indian, but I also learned a lot about my heritage and the challenges in Sri Lanka as well. So you are not alone. I think the most important thing is to acknowledge our allies that are here. I wanted to acknowledge your space, ACU as well, for allowing us to have this commemoration here. It's important to recognise allies here, particularly from that youth here as well. Put your hand up. It's good to know that you're here as well. I think I would love to see not only this auditorium, which is almost full, is that we have something a bit more public, where we can have a conversation around what's happened in Rwanda and the genocide to Tutsis. And I think that is the most pertinent message that I wanted to share here. And I also want to just acknowledge that people from Rwanda that's moved here to Australia, contributions is so important. Very much, a very strong thread in our community, our multicultural community. I just want to thank you because it's not about, and we heard a little bit about contributions today around some cultural groups where you just have to have upper lip, push through, and you don't need to. And I think knowing that there are services that are around here in Sydney, site as well, I really want to acknowledge the work that's like us. It's important that you reach out to seek the support because it is hard. But more importantly, we just want to recognise those that we've lost. My message to the slide is thank you for sharing your stories. And we've heard, obviously you heard Ramana as well, and Elijah, you're sharing your story too. But also the strength that's required to share that story. Thank you. But more importantly, Josie, where's Josie? Where's Josie? Who's at back? Josie's the next generation. And it's important that people, young kids like Josie, understand the history of the genocide. But I think it's more important that we learn that division and hatred must be stamped out before it gets to that point of violence. So thank you so much for having me here today. This has been such a moving commemoration, but more importantly today, when you leave, make sure that you talk about this to someone who may not know. My electorate Rwandans in the southern part of Sydney. Banks is next door to me, and we don't have a large Rwandan community, but we turn up here because we are humans. And I think that's the most important thing, and I really appreciate having Z here as well to support the Rwandan community. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Ash. As you can understand, Ash and Z, they are very busy people, but we appreciate that you took the time in your busy schedule to be here and support us. We really appreciate it. Thank you. And also these other organizations who are represented here, like Youth here, thanks guys. There's a Jewish organization, young people. The Jewish people have experienced genocide, and this is good to see young people carrying this, because for us as survivors, we want our kids to continue this, so that way, as we continue to do this, we're trying to do everything we can that no one will experience what we experienced. It's about raising that awareness. And I saw Dr. Ali Landa as well from also Survive, and the team. Thank you for being here. I'm just going to take the time to recognize the Australian Catholic University. We did hear from Monica Wong, and we just got a special message from them because we've been meeting here for the last 20 years. So I would like to acknowledge the spirit in which the Catholic University Strathfield campus has walked alongside our community over many years. Your presence has been quiet, yet steadfast, compassionate, and deeply humane. For me, the first commemoration I attended was here, at this university. In a moment marked by grief and remembrance, you have offered far more than a venue. You have created a space where sorrow is held with dignity, where memories are honored, and where our community feels seen, supported, and respected. This kind of humanity cannot be measured. It is felt and endures. On behalf of the Rwandan community, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to Australian Catholic University, and in particular to you, Monica Wong, who is here today, for your unwavering support over the past 2 decades. For these many years, this university has been a place of remembrance, reflection, and quiet strength. Within these walls, we have come together to honor our loved ones, to share our grief, and support one another. The first time I attended the commemoration, I met a few survivors, and this is like a personal story. Some of the survivors, some were very young families with babies. They were in Australia, no one. And I remember driving, going home, and I had a conversation with my husband in the car and I said, we need to do something. And I remember some few of those young mom survivors experienced emotional, they couldn't content. And I remember one of them had a baby and she couldn't even control what was going on. And I just had this sense that we need to do something. And that time we contacted them and we started meeting to each other and we kind of got together, raised the families together, and today they are now men and women who can do their lives every day like everyone else. We were able to share our stories and support each other because of this space that you guys have given us. At a time where many of our communities felt unseen, your institution stood with us. Through your generosity, survivors have been able to connect. And from that lasting bond, we began the long journey of healing. Because healing happens in community, and your support has made that possible. We also wish to express our sincere thanks to Damascene Bimira. Your dedication over many years has been an instrumental in building and sustaining this relationship. And you ensured that we always has a place together, remember and commemorate with dignity. Your commitment has left a lasting impact, and we deeply appreciate it. We're going to stand up so people who don't know Damascene, he's the one who connected us with this university. We just want to say thank you. And allow me to share a brief personal reflection. My husband, one of the founding members of our community, often recalls a time when the commemorations were held in public parks, simply because there was no dedicated space. So finding this university changed that. It gave us a home, a place of continuity, respect, and peace. So today, Australian Catholic University, thank you for your continued commitment, your openness, and for walking alongside us through these years. And your presence today, Monica, and your support over the years means more than words can fully express. So as a small token of our sincere appreciation, we will present you with a symbol of gratitude at the end of this ceremony. Thank you for standing with us, for remembering with us, and for supporting our community today and always. I would like to invite Mr. Vivens Mutaga. He's a chair of Rwandan Community Connections, to come and say a few words and do our closing remarks.
Thank you, everyone. Honorable S. About Martin, Honorable Zasson, above for Max, Honorable Julia Fini Benith have left, but she has been with us for so many years, and we can't, this time we choose not how to speak because she's considered as a host, not a guest. I can see Tui, also coming, thanks for giving us. it's hard to say anything after the testimonies heard, after the good work, good speech we shared. One day I remember when I was talking with my wife, she was asking me if you how do you cope? How do you live with such um, being alone and waking up one morning and there's no one left? How do you cope? How do you? I said, I didn't have any choice. Any response. I didn't have any answer to that question even now. So simply I put this into things. So I found that life is a gift. The life is a choice. What do you do about your gift? It's yours. So we choose to live. We choose to move on. As many survivors here. Today, as we come to an end to this conversion, we did not simply close program. We carry forward responsibility. Remember the genocide against the Tutsi. It's not easy. For many years, I believe I remember in wound on the open wounds, deepened scars, and awakened anger. I thought perhaps it was better to stay silent, to try and move forward without looking back. But as I've grown, I've come to understand something deeper. So remembering is not a weakness, it's a part of our healing. It's a form of therapy for survivors, as has been mentioned. It's a way of honor our loved ones whose voices were silenced, but whose presence remains alive with us. To remember is acknowledging the truth of what we have seen, what we have heard, and what we carry in our hearts every day. We cannot separate ourselves from that story. It's a part of who we are. And by facing it together, we transform pain into strength, grief into dignity, and memory into purpose. Today we have stood together, not only in mourning, but in unity. We have shown that even after imaginable loss, we choose resilience, we choose to rebuild, we choose to stand for truth. Let us continue to remember, not to remain the past, but to protect the future. Let us ensure our children generation as the work here, youth here do. So we need to transmit the message of what we've seen, we've heard to our children, years after year. To those we lost, we say we're not forgotten. To the survivors, we say your strength is the light to all of us. And to the world, we say never again must mean never again. Because saying it is one thing, but doing it is another thing. As politician, you can see all over the news when you watch the news, people say no more genocide, no more killings. But it's happening every day when we watch on TVs, it's happening. So let's never again means never again. Thank you all for being here, for remembering, and for standing together. We also look forward to coming here again next year for Kwibuka 33. So, honorables, next time we want you to be a host, not a guest. We want you to, we need more members of parliament. This room, we need to know. I think Rwanda, as Rwandans, we have a role to teach. You know, the best teachers we are, because we've gone through this stuff. You know, it's watching the news. Because I've mentioned some of when you talk about genocide against us in Rwanda, when you speak to your friend or Australians, they always say, no, Hotel Rwanda. When you talk, we've seen here, it's not Hotel Rwanda. It's a place, it's nothing. But we've seen like people like Omar who shared his testimony was 10 years old. You've seen he was covered by dead bodies. You know, it's not a movie. It's not a horror movie. It's happened. You know? So people need to come and hear these stories. I think we are in a better position to tell, to teach. We are strong still yet, and we are ready to change the world, change environment, communities. We are leaders. That's why we are leaders. So I was saying when I was writing, people said, I'm proud now. As I get older, I'm proud to lead a resilient people, a resilient community members. Because if someone survives from that tragedy that we've seen, and now who always would, someone will fear. But thank you for the attention. Thanks for being with us. Thanks always standing. Seeing even mentioned seniors and leaders of communities. So everyone here, members of community, our children. Yeah, thanks for coming and thanks for your time. Have a great day.
Just gonna invite Monica Wong to say 2 sentences. She asked me to say 2 sentences.
Thank you everyone for attending today and thinking about the remember. As someone of a Chinese background, we've all had various experiences with my family, with your own families, in your communities, but I'd like to just say, remember that ACU is here in the background. We will be led by what the community needs. We will unite and walk together for whatever that you want to achieve, what you see in the future. We also would like to learn as well. And each year, around this time next year, we will review our resolve to make sure that we're part of the bigger, wider community and part of your community. And thank you very much for allowing us to be such an integral part of the community and teaching us so much about your courage. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Monica. So we've got something small we would like to present to you. This is just something to have in your office or somewhere, just to remember the Rwanda community.
It's a lunch voucher for me. You all have to wait. I get to go to the front of the line.
Monica, on behalf of my community, as we see here today, on behalf of my community, I'm honored to give you this medal as a deed She's not here today. She has another meeting. It's not belong to it's belong to ACU, especially Australian Catholic University, where I used to belong. They didn't say much, but people don't know. When I started 2002 here, before you, and after, it's
He looks
really,
very young, doesn't he? He must have started when he was 3.
yeah. So in this room, I started for Vice Chancellor named Professor Peter Sheehan with Marie Nicholson in campus. They welcomed me, including Aboriginal. Had a good time with them. They welcomed me, and they told me this is my home. It was the second home after that. Before, I used to have this myself with my family for you guys to come in. Then I asked the Vice Chancellor, including Maria Nicholson, in campus, to allow me to join one of the community because it's coming home. Thank you for that. And after it was a very Vice Chancellor, was until from 2000 until now, I think 5 or 6 Vice Chancellor. Each one was coming, was welcome. Dear community, I would love to really give honor and to appreciate how they take us in their own shoulder. So we are together, and thank you for that. We give the campus name, and as you hear the message from community, thank you very much.
Thank you, Damascene.
Thank you.
Monica. Thank you. This brings us to the end of our commemoration today. I just want to say again, thank you. And I've seen some members of Wanyamuri in the community. Guys, thank you so much. We see you every year you come and stand with us. And I just want to also ask all these communities who are represented here, came here to support us. Please invite us to your own events. We would love to attend as well. And every single person, people who traveled to be here today, thank you so much. We're going to have some light refreshments. Someone is giving me some sign at the back there. I don't know what they're saying. And yeah, those guys are there. They're wearing those t-shirts. You'll see them around there. They will guide you with what you need to do. So this afternoon, go and have some light refreshments and connect with someone. And just thank you.
Thank you.
It's done again. You want to turn that off? What's good? You did a good job.
Stress is okay. Ntacyo kambwira ngashyireho kambwira kitwa gute
brought flowers.
kitwa gute mbwira kitwa gute
Brought flowers. Brought flowers. Oh my God! I can't
And no one brought flowers, people.
Where you go?
Yeah.
Let's finish rice. You are right finish it. Iracyari live?